It only takes a few critical questions to really break down this narrative and start to see exactly what is going on. And so I wanted to make this video to remind you that you're not going crazy. You are literally being lied to, and the term that we have for this is called gaslighting. We are all collectively being gaslit right now so that we can be funneled into pathways of control. Peace. Welcome back to the blog. My name is OnenO. Today I'd like to talk about the subject of you're not going crazy, you're being lied to. You see, right now the media has one major mission in mind, and that is to program your frequency. Now, what does it mean to program your frequency? It means to influence your thoughts and emotions so that the vibe of your energetic state stays at a very low level. When you stay in a state of fear, you are much more easily controlled. And that is what is going on. The 6 major media corporations that own 90% of all media that we see have a very consistent and steady drip feed of fear propaganda. And they have a very important reason for doing so. Their reason for doing so is to control you, to make you so afraid that you become immobile, that your spirit begins to diminish in influence and in freedom of thought, and then therefore you become much more easily controlled. So if you're an old soul or a star seed or light worker, you're probably well aware of this, but this is a good video reminder for you to just reawaken where your power actually lies. Your power is in your energy frequency. Your heart energy emits an electromagnetic field, and that field can influence every other person that you come in contact with. So this is what happens with all hearts. And what they want to do is make all of us in this really low vibrational, fear-based state. Because when we stay there, that is when we're easily manipulated and controlled to do whatever they want to do. And this is why they've gone as far as censoring certain forms of conversation online, because they don't want us talking about things that can empower us. For instance, have you noticed that during this time of crisis, we're just going to call it that because I can't use the word, you know what word I'm talking about, the thing that's affecting all of our lungs? During this time of crisis, anytime somebody questions the narrative, they're censored. And the reason for that is that they want to contain the conversation as much as possible. But when I use my critical thinking and I look at the conversation that's being had, I find a few things very interesting. First, all the talk keeps going back to vaccines or having to wear a mask or having to social distance. Not a single conversation from our leaders in the health department have ever talked about how we can boost our immune system to be able to naturally fight off this disease. How do we boost our immune system? Our immune system is regulated by a few key factors. If we eat properly, sleep regularly, exercise, and maintain a healthy body weight, we are putting our body in a position of success, in a position where our body can be healthy and the longevities of our bodies is extended. So with this in mind, I want you, anytime that you watch the news and the media, which I highly recommend that you don't, but anytime that you do, pay attention to how little they talk about these natural things that we can do for our bodies to actually boost our immune system. You see, this disease which we're fighting is not one in which we're losing. You see, the recovery rate is 99.7%. When you get older, or when you have other preconditions, like your body's not in very good health, your susceptibility rate to this virus is much higher. But when you are in a normal body, which we're just going to say normal, healthy, active, that type of body has a 99.7% rate of recovery if you even contracted it, let alone having to get it in the first place. Now, I find it interesting that when they talk about this disease all day long, they end up brushing over a few small points that they don't really want to focus in on. which is the fact that so many people are not even getting symptoms, or the fact that even some of these symptoms that show up are akin to the common cold. You see, we're being hijacked. The narrative is being hijacked. Your mind and your heart and your energy field is being programmed. That's why the television calls everything that you watch a television program, because they are programming you and they want to influence you. And when they influence you, what happens? Well, let's remember one of the main things that we start to discover on the awakening path, on the spiritual awakening path. You discover that you are the creator of your reality. You have a sphere of reality. It is everything that you see and everything that interacts with you. And your sphere of reality is the reality that you create. It's like a microcosm of the macrocosm. And so the macrocosm, when talking about the planet Earth and our society, that is created by the collective. So if enough of the microcosms kind of go into this state of fear and chaos, then the macrocosm is made up of that. And that is how they get society to shift. That is how we see so many people out there wearing masks without ever questioning that narrative, questioning the reason why we should be wearing masks. Especially when something has a 99% recovery rate, and when the average person that gets this virus is not even displaying symptoms, not even having symptoms. It only takes a few critical questions to really break down this narrative and start to see exactly what is going on. And so I wanted to make this video to remind you that you're not going crazy. You are literally being lied to, and the term that we have for this is called gaslighting. We are all collectively being gaslit right now so that we can be funneled into pathways of control. And that is the end game for this. I don't believe that this is going to get better soon. I think that they're turning up the heat. If anything, I think the heat is going to reach its maximum point later this year in about November, once we finally have the presidential election. Now, the truth is that's not necessarily going to stop this agenda, because if Trump wins, I believe chaos could ensue, because they desperately don't want that, and they want America to look absolutely insane if he wins. If Biden wins, I think while the narrative may cool off, the negative policies and things that I believe he and Kamala Harris will attempt to create in America will be very detrimental to our freedoms. So either way, either side of the coin, I think the heat is going to turn up, and essentially what we have to do is remember that we own our freedom. We own our thoughts. Nobody can actually tell us how to think and feel. But now you have to monitor how much time you spend watching not just mainstream news, but even exposing yourself to certain forms of social media, because all of these forms are programming our minds and thoughts. So when we know that we're in control of our minds and thoughts, our feelings and behaviors, then we, first of all, the natural byproduct of that is that you limit your time exposing yourself to mind programming, aka mainstream news and sensational social media type stuff like that. So we need to actually put that on the back burner and come back to our heart. You see, we are all divine, infinite beings, and that is the number one narrative that you will never find on television, is the remembrance and the reminding you that you are in fact a divine being who has a form of control over their own physical temple. Your body is a physical temple. It's a walking, living, breathing miracle. Your consciousness is able to affect the state of your body. And when your mind is in a position of stress and dis-ease, your body will manifest that stress and that dis-ease. So there's a few major things you can do to help reprogram the vibration of your body. The first major one is meditate, but specifically do some form of breath control. You see, when you control your diaphragm and you breathe really slowly, your body has what's called a parasympathetic nervous system response. The parasympathetic nervous system is directly connected to your diaphragm, and it controls the body's cool-off function. The other side of that coin is the fight or flight function, and that's just called the sympathetic nervous system. When you're in a state of stress, or when you're watching something that puts you in a state of stress, your sympathetic nervous system is being activated and you're being put into a position of fight or flight, as if there was a lion in your room about to eat you and your body is starting to react. All of that takes place chemically in your body just by exposing your eyes and your ears to certain forms of entertainment. And yes, news is most clearly entertainment at this point. It's not journalism. Whereas when you do something conscious, like meditate, and you consciously control your diaphragm and you consciously slow it down, you then activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So the cooling response starts to take over your body, and there's a chemical and physiological effect that takes place. Now, I don't know the exact scientific studies to cite here, but I do know there has been plenty of science out there. You can do your own research on this, about the benefits of activating the parasympathetic nervous system in your body. The health of your body is heightened the longer that your parasympathetic is activated. So that is the first major tip. Another major tip would be exercise, sleep, and diet. Watch what you put into your mouth, watch what you put into your eyes, your ears, your brain, your stomach, your lungs. Watch what you put into your body, because what you put into your body is what comes out of your body. Or another way of saying that is, what you put into your body is what your body will manifest. So not only is it important to pay attention to the quality of the water and the food that you are eating and drinking, but also the thoughts that you allow your mind to chew. And then attached to all of this is sleep as well. Getting good sleep will help heal your body, will keep your body in a state of health and productivity. And then maybe the third thing to do would be to, I've already said this, but watch how much time you really are spending on mainstream news or on social media, because all of these mediums of influence have an influence on you. So it's not that you have to cut out any form of social media, it's that you need to watch what you are watching when you open social media apps. So for instance, I've been limiting my time on Instagram because it's become kind of this toxic place where I feel the moment that I open the app, it's only about 60 seconds or so before I feel that fight or flight response. So I've been watching my time on there. But when I spend time on YouTube and I find really helpful music tutorials, or I like watching videos of people creating things, randomly I've been going down this tangent of watching people do what's called wood turning, where they create beautiful pieces of art from wood using a lathe and stuff. But watching someone be creative inspires me. Even though I'm a musician and I have nothing to do with carpentry, it's fun watching people create things and do something with their skills and their talents that inspires me to then go use my skills and my talents to do things. But on the flip side of that coin, when I just sit there and watch too much YouTube that's all about Fox News, CNN, Trump, pandemic, all of this stuff, or when I open Instagram or I'm on Reddit for too long, all of those sources end up stressing me out, and they end up making me feel very fight or flight, and that's not healthy for me. So I watch what's going on in my energy system whenever I expose myself to these different forms of media. And that is really maybe the overarching point of this video, is watch your energy field. You see, the main way you're being gaslit right now is no one is reminding you that you have an internal GPS that is always seeking truth, and you can feel when something is a lie. What makes you go crazy is when you feel that something is a lie and someone refuses to admit that they're lying to you, or they try to just continue to sell you this lie as the truth. That is very detrimental to our cognitive health. It's something that we call cognitive dissonance. It's where we have these two opposing thoughts that create a type of frustration in our energy and our mental equilibrium. So pay attention to how you feel, because you are way more powerful, way more divine than anything that the mainstream news or media is ever going to tell you. You are an extension of source creation in a physical body. It's about time that we start acting like it and that we start living like that. And the reason why we call these people warriors, the reason why you're a warrior, old soul, is because you are an independent person that has to stand on their own 2 feet. You have support systems out there available to you, but you are mostly taking on this narrative on a daily basis by yourself, slicing through the lies and getting to the core truths that you can see out there. So don't believe in the narratives. Don't just take anything that's being sold to you, hook, line, and sinker, without questioning anything. Imagine your mind like a temple, and imagine your awareness like a guard standing at the gate of that temple. You will not allow any negative thoughts, any lies, anything that doesn't feel completely in alignment with the highest truth available to you. You do not allow that into your temple. And when you do that, when you keep that awareness, no matter what you're watching, whether it's something on mainstream news, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, or even Netflix, you have to maintain aware as the guard of your mental gate, because whatever you allow into your mental gate, even if your guard is just sleeping and saying, oh, this is fun entertainment, if your guard is down and you allow anything into your mental state, it does begin to manifest in your energy system and eventually in your body system. So it's important to be aware at all times what you are thinking and feeling as a reaction to whatever stimulus that you're seeing. And then the ultimate way to clear out that energy body is to turn off everything, at least go stand in nature or go for a hike or do something like that. But one of the best things to do is to meditate, to chill your mind out, to come back to your center, and then to pray and to seek the guidance of spirit within you. Because the guidance that comes from spirit is going to be more powerful and more on point to helping you than anything you could find by turning on the TV or looking through an app. Seek the guidance within you first and watch how your life takes on divine order and abundance. And that's my message to you today. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this subject. Hit that like button and subscribe. And until I see you again along the journey, oneness in sound, I am OnenO. Peace.